Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another podcast. Creating your boundary. Now, I hadn't talked about boundaries in a long time, but every man has a boundary. Every man is territorial. Now, I know there's some people who talk about some bullshit like toxic masculinity and all of that, but any woman or even any man who say that shit are stupid as hell. Yeah, I said it. You stupid as hell. Because the thing about a boundary, if a man has a boundary, he will protect all within it. He won't hit a woman who's in his boundary. Remember, I talked about domestic violence a while ago. If a man accepts a woman into his boundary, he'll never think to touch her. That's his boundary. That's because, I'll get into the deeper aspects of it, but he will never think to put his hand on her. She's a part of him. And actually, a lot of men, it's actually surprising how many women are not part of a man's boundary, even if they married to him. And that's a lot of times that at most a woman is given permission to cross his boundary. But she's not, he ain't never accepted her as part of his boundary. She just might be a necessary evil, somebody for him to have sex with, whatever. You know, happen to have a baby with him, married because, the religious doctrines of whatever path they follow say, hey, you need to marry. But he never truly accepted that. Now, what you have, see, in that boundary, it's a physical boundary. Like the physical boundary for the typical man is 3 feet. In most cases, a normal man really doesn't like a man within 3 feet of him or someone to cross it. Like I say, they might give a woman permission, but typically ain't gonna want another man that close without permission. Or unless, and I'll talk about the bigger boundary in a second. But it's typically 3 feet out. That's a physical boundary. Another boundary is if a man has a house and his yard will be his boundary. That's why you get some people, neighbors and stuff, they'll kill you. Every now and then you hear they kill him, like he came over on that grass or something. That's because of the boundary thing. Like, I give you an example. I remember years ago, had a house and it was in Edgewood, Maryland. Had a little small house and he had a low white picket fence. He actually had the house with a picket fence. And I remember I'm sitting there looking out in the backyard because my computer was facing that way. I saw some big old kid jumping over the fence. And I actually went outside with no shirt on, nothing but shorts on. And y'all see how I look. So I was like, hold up. And I think I scared the shit out the kid because he's like, man, what's this old man coming out here for? No shirt on. Looking like, and he was taller than me too. He was taller than me. All I'd say to the kid, I said, nah, don't be crossing over here again. I was nice enough to let him keep going. But I was like, I said, don't cross here again and put the word out in the neighborhood. Don't cross that old nigga's yard. And that's how I said it too. That's how I said it too. And to his credit, apparently he must be popular enough in the neighborhood because we ain't have any more issues. We ain't had because somebody else had crossed over before. I just wasn't there to see it. But it was like, nah, we cutting this off. But see, in my mind, that was my boundary. And it's an invisible thing. And it's also a mental thing. Like if somebody try to get in your business too much, some people will kill you. Some people will kill you. If you look at somebody and you just say, okay, I don't want to discuss that, leave it alone. Like, no, I ain't gonna go there because it'll start. It's something I was gonna say, but you know how sometimes you say, nah, you know what, that'll start that escalate into like stuff where the police will come. So I ain't gonna put that out there. But a mental thing is just saying, okay, this is my boundary. I'm not gonna let you go there. I'm not gonna let you touch it myself. Now, understand something. That's a very masculine thing to do. Men are supposed to be territorial. And men often join with other men to create bigger boundaries. Like sports teams are boundaries. That's a common boundary right there. Shoot, even if you playing pickup, the boundary is your team. You do whatever for your team. Everybody else is the enemy. I mentioned before in a video, because I've talked about this before, but some moved me to put this back out again. And I think I talked about this, I don't know, on one of my other channels. But, you know, if you look at the powerful societies in history, secret or otherwise, they were boundaries. You know, the Ashanti man in Ghana, that was a boundary. The samurai, that's a boundary. Lakota Sioux, boundary. The Nazis, Mossad, CIA, Freemasons, that's a boundary. That's when men join together and you can actually get some stuff done. And I'm going to get more into that circle thing in the next video. But the important thing is to create that boundary if you don't already have it. Now, because of society now and because of the proliferation of what my mentor calls shadow men, and these men who, really a big part of this whole game, masculinity isn't as developed as it was in past years. And that's because of the society, and people scream toxic masculinity as soon as you do something against them. I know here's a tangent. You notice nobody scream toxic masculinity when somebody attacking them. Then they want you to fuck them up. Have y'all noticed that, especially women? You notice, like, if somebody attacking them, you know, they be like toxic masculinity to that one guy who don't give a shit what they saying, ready to attack them. Then they want that other man who they done beat down mentally about toxic masculinity to come save them. I always remember that. I always keep that in mind. But you have a problem out here with many men because, well, the masculinity thing, and they not creating a boundary. Now, how do you create a boundary? One, you just got to say, just mentally, you got to say, look, this is my boundary. You just say it mentally. This is my boundary. This is how close you can come to me. This is, this is what I won't let you into. And honestly, and it got to be a strong thing. It's like, no, I'm not letting no. You got to take a stand, have integrity. Like I said a video before, like even on a job, you can't let even the job people violate your integrity. Even if it'll result in your job. I know you taking care of some people and all of that, taking care of yourself, but that's how strong your boundary has to be. Like you would rather leave that job or get fired than let somebody violate it. And really take it to another level. You willing to fight for that boundary, not to let it be violated. That's how strong a boundary has to be. And it's not a bad thing, but it causes a man to take a stand on something. Like, I'm not going to let this happen. It causes a man to protect all within his boundary. I talked yesterday, a shout out to strong fathers and husbands and fathers. You know, family men. They created a boundary. Don't mess with the child of somebody who's really a strong family man. Never mess with that child. Don't even joke with that child. Because shoot, you literally risk your life. I'm not exaggerating. I've seen those father types. It's like you don't even mess with kids in around them. There's certain people, like you could joke with a kid around some people, but you can't even mess with a young child around them. They'd be ready to kill you. You know? Yeah, I can't tell that story. You know, I do have some stories. For legal reasons, it's not in my best interest to put it out there. But no, but you want to create that. You want to understand that. You know, and that boundary got to be. I know we talk in this particular space, talk a lot about man getting women. You gotta have a boundary with them, because women go across a man's boundaries like a butterfly. Most of them don't recognize it unless you like by force enforce it. Like you say, look, you don't do this. This is my boundary. But you have to do that. So anyway, that's all I have for today. I'll get back with y'all later. Peace and many blessings.